Here's Survivor, chapter 48, entitled Fair Game. Oh my God. She wished that she was an artist so she could paint the beautiful scenery, but all she could do was add it to her list of memories. She passed an English-style pub and decided to go in for coffee, and as soon as she stepped inside, she regretted it. It was full of shirtless, tattooed expats watching the never-ending football and laughing and talking loudly. Bloody hell, she said to herself, it's just like being back home. Now she'd experienced the high life and been around more cultured and successful people. She wanted to avoid the rougher elements, and her patience had worn thin. She was happy to be a snob if it offered her protection from bad people like a suit of armour. Unfortunately, she was dressed in a short white skirt and thin white top, and the men followed her with their eyes, prizing themselves away from the TV. Coffee, please, she said in a confident manner, and she sat down in the corner, away from the TV and the usual suspects. She was tired, and the heat streaming bloody hell, into the pub also almost made her nod off again. Her head felt like lead, and she was hoping the coffee was going to revitalize her. The men in the corner began talking louder and cracking lewd jokes. She kept her head down. Surely I'll get some peace in here, she thought angrily. Then it happened. The biggest and most heavily tattooed yob, one of the group, sauntered over to her. How are you doing, love? Want some company? Was his original retort. No thanks, she replied. I'm happy alone. Don't be a spoilsport, he replied, not listening to a word she'd said. She breathed deeply. I'm fine. Bye, she said, and looked away. He got the message and wandered off, but he didn't look happy. And when he got back to his pals, they became even rowdier. She knew she wasn't going to hang around, but she wasn't going to be rushed either. She carried on drinking her coffee, but her mind was racing. She was starting to wake up and her energy was returning. She tried to ignore their lewd comments and concentrate on the day ahead, but it was difficult. She glanced over again and they were all glued to the TV, watching the rugby. She took this as her moment to leave. Swiftly down in her coffee, she headed for the door and a few heads turned to look at her.